Our next story comes from Max.
I didn't see that in our notes.
No, he wanted to bring it in and read it himself.
Well, that's different. You sure he's not going to try to take over the show?
I'm pretty sure he's not. He has the copy in his paw, and he's virtually jumping up and down to read it.
Well, he sure sounds sincere. Come on in, Max. Greetings, Mumsy and Father. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share this news with you. I wanted this fine platform to be the first place that anyone hears this exclusive.
An exclusive? Sounds cool. What is it?
You invested in a catnip farm? Oh, dear Father, I see you are suffering from a delusion that you are being humorous. Hey!
Burn.
Fear not, my beloved parents. This news will elevate your well-being. Indeed, your heart will undoubtedly sing for joy. This will be the wonderfulest of the wonderfuler, the nicest of nice things.
Hey, thanks for the tie-ins, Max.
Enough with the hype, son. Let's hear the story. Thank you, good sir. Dateline, Texas. Renowned pundit, journalist, and cat Maximilian von Riegelbieser has announced that he has thrown his hat into the ring and henceforth and forthwith will be campaigning for the presidency of the United States.
What?
In a conversation with his mirror, Max said that he has grown increasingly distressed at the state of our fine nation. What was once the land of the free and the home of the brave has become the land of the tree and the home of the cave.
What does that even mean?
Exactly! Now, where was I? Under the Riegelbieser administration, nice ring to that, wouldn't you say? My first 100 days will bring an end to the war in Ukraine, wherever that is, lower prices at the pump, whether it be gasoline or bicycle tire, and, of course, the rightful return of alphabets to the cereal aisle. Wait, they stopped making those? My campaign will start in earnest, which after much research I discovered is a borough in Indiana County, Pennsylvania. As president, I will advise the county to change its name as it is in Pennsylvania and not Indiana, which can be just as confusing to cats as it can be to humans.
He has a point, I think.
I will be announcing my potential cabinet after I have finished visiting all of the local antique and furniture stores, as I want this cabinet to best represent the interests of the American people. Max, I don't think you completely get... Now that the orange president ceiling has been shattered, I feel it is my sacred duty to take it to the next level. Very thoughtful, Max, but you don't have to. My campaign website and fundraising info will be available soon. In the meantime, I hope from the tips of my fine white whiskers that you will consider giving me the honor of serving me as President of the United States of America. Thank you, and good night.
Well, congratulations.
Max, sweetie, with all due respect, do you think you qualify to be president? I am taking no questions from the press at this time. Yup, he qualifies.
At Deanna School of Diction, we teach you the preferred Hollywood accent that will propel you to fame through movie roles, musical hits, and even politics. Just listen to the testimonies of a few of our successful students.
Deanna, she told me I'll be out over you with Dixie. You know what I mean? And it's good because I can talk real good now, you know what I mean?
Well, Deanna is my friend. She let me sing a song to the very end, and every man is then.
Deanna's wonderful. I love her. And I can really talk real good now.
You know, Deanna should really help me out with how I talk, you know.
Deanna School of Diction, the language of fame.
Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcap production. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're listening live, be sure to join our chat on Spreaker. If you're listening dead, please stop voting Democrat, but enjoy the show anyway. And a happy Sunday. Welcome to the Hot Box, otherwise known as Counterculture Wise Oven Studios, where we bake all the news that's fit to potato or something like that.
I
think we need a new tagline. I'm telling you.
It's this has gone beyond ridiculous.
Yeah. We are looking for new Counterculture Wise studios, and you know what? You can help by dropping everything. Like, share, subscribe, give us lots of stars, do the thumbs up, do all the things. Head on over to counterculturewise.com, support the show so that we can move to a place that has air conditioning. Folks, it is 108 degrees outside. It's about 150 degrees inside. So please bear with us as we turn off all our fans and do our best. I guess you will be our only fans today.
Yeah.
Wah. Wait, I've got the thing. Where'd it go? I should probably do. Anyways, if you're wondering who this rambling fool is, I am Ms. Melanie Hope, your hostess with the mostest, and here with me in the studio is my best friend, happens to be my spouse. He's my co-host and my sweet baboo, Mr. James Mona.
Thanks.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we get.
That's all you get. I'm okay. I'm happy to be here. A little
now
brain,
I will do for you
a
the
little
Elvis.
brain fried, but thank you very much. Thank you. So.
Okay then.
But yeah, we got a lot tonight. We started off with a commercial for Deanna's School of Diction because after several years, they've brought us another ad. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, it's so nice to hear back from an old sponsor.
And, quick update about Max's campaign. He's working on the website and campaigning and all that. Well, there'll be more updates to come.
He's setting up debates.
Oh.
Yeah. He's
either
decided...
going to win completely on those or he's going to lose magnificently.
Oh, Max
whatever he does, he'll
everything
be
magnificently.
Yes,
so if he's going to win or lose, it's going to be magnificent. Win or lose, it's going to be magnificent.
Absolutely.
All righty. Well, you're saying goodbye. We always start with, who died this week?
I want to stop doing this.
A stinger for that.
Who died this week? No, two important artists as far as I'm concerned. The director, William Friedkin, who directed the classic movie The Exorcist and also probably my two favorite action movies, The French Connection and To Live and Die in L.A. And Melanie, I know you've seen To Live and Die in L.A. because I made you watch it once, but it was about Secret Service agents who were trying to capture a counterfeiter, and they kind of lost their soul in the process. Very 80s
I need to
style.
watch it again because I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was outstanding. French Connection's a classic. I think it won the Academy Award, if I'm not mistaken, or got, nominated for it. Why was I having trouble finding the word nominated?
Nama.
Yeah, anyhow.
It's one of those days. We had a late start, folks, because it's so hot in here. Literally everything shut down. Computers,
It's like,
everything. So
in order to protect
little bit
you
of a
and destroy
panic.
your show, we're going to shut everything down.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just a teensy bit of a panic, yeah.
And Robbie Robertson, who was the guitarist and primary songwriter for the band called The Band, he passed on. He was a songwriter.
How do you get away with naming your band?
It's actually
That's
an
like naming
interesting
your
story
cat
behind it.
Cat.
No, there's an interesting story behind it. They were Ronnie Hawkins' backing band, and then they were Bob Dylan's backing band. And since they were so used to being called The Band, that was the name they decided on for their group.
That's
was
funny.
The Band.
My mom and I always said we were going to start a band and call it Live Music, because then we get free advertising everywhere.
Well, plus you could call it Free Beer. I mean, that would be another good
that
one.
would work too, but you
Yeah.
don't see signs that say Free Beer, but you see signs that say Live Music all over the place. The other
That's
thing we
true.
always joked about is when it said Live Nudes. It's like, good choice.
Yeah. Live ones are always better than dead ones.
Thinking
Well,
so.
there's a subsegment of society, but we won't get into that right now. But he wrote songs like "The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down," "The Weight," quite a few other classic songs, and just an amazing songwriter and guitarist. He left behind quite a legacy. They were an Americana band before there was such a term. Their first album came out in 1968, and their first two albums are considered classics of rock and roll. They did about 6 or 7 of them before the original band disbanded, and he was the one who called the thing off, and eventually the others reunited on stage without him and started touring again. But he stuck to his word. He also was a producer. He produced Neil Diamond's album "Beautiful Noise." Their last concert in their original lineup was called "The Last Waltz." They filmed a movie of the concert, and it was amazing. It had Dylan, Hawkins, Ringo Starr, Ronnie Wood, Van Morrison, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, and quite a few other rock luminaries, all of whom held the band in the highest regard. So, hats off to you. The only remaining member of the group who's still around is Garth Hudson, who was the keyboardist and the only guy who wasn't a singer in the band.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
I saw a video, during the COVID thing where different artists were recording together from different studios around the world.
Yeah, that happened a lot.
One of Robbie Robertson and Ringo doing "The Weight," along with musicians from all over the world, most of whom I hadn't heard of, and it was absolutely astounding. So if you have a chance to watch that, maybe I'll put the link up on our website.
Might
so-
as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Head on over to
So you can watch
counterculturewise.com
it.
and you will see all of the show notes with all of the links archived, of course. So if we ever talk about something you're like, nah, nope, they're all there, as well as the most recent. Holy crap, this is actually happening. Got a late start on it last week, so you're going to get last week's and this
You're gonna
week's
get a
all in
double
one
dose of the
show.
Chuckmeister.
And if
He's
you want
not
to see
happy.
the video's already up. Oh, it might not be, though, because it was still uploading when the computer shut down. Yike. Okay.
Well, maybe and maybe not.
We'll see. Well,
Anyway, it
might
will
have to
be
start
available.
over from scratch.
you
Yipe.
know. But enough about the dead celebrities. Moving on. I wasn't even going to start with dead celebrities, but whatever.
Well, I mean, we're talking about dead things. Prayers to Maui. My
yeah,
God, what a
it's
mess.
insane.
What a mess. It's so sad.
Well, they don't, because they never have these kinds of things happen, and it's such a low crime area. They just don't have a whole lot of police or fire people there, and so it's been really sad to watch. So,
Yeah.
Heavenly Father, please watch over everybody and ensure that the further lives are saved and spared, and be with the families who've lost their homes and family members. And please send down peace of mind. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I don't usually pray before a show. I think the only other time we did it was when Kevin Kiefer was on the show. But
yeah, that's true.
But,
and I think Dan prayed with us.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It does happen sometimes. Despite our nasty habits, we do believe. And
yeah, well, we're trying to rein that in too.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, all the downloads stopped, so I'll be doing that in the background as well.
Okily dokily.
Oy, oy, oy.
It never really ends, does it?
No,
No.
we are nothing if not professional here at Counterculture Wise Studios. We don't even have an audience in our chat. Not even one.
Well, I'm excited to announce that one of our regular audience people is going to be on the show with us. I think we have an interview also.
So next week we have an updated interview with Naresh Visa. We're going to be talking about the presidential candidate that is my favorite. And since we did go on for 2 hours, as we always do, we'll probably be breaking that in half. So we'll be talking about, what was the first half about? Lab weeks?
No, the first half was about the influence of a certain Asian nation over us. And,
so lab leaks.
And also we're going to be discussing the presidential campaign of one Vivek Narasimha, who I'm probably voting for in the primary.
If we get a chance, yeah.
Because I think he's. I mean, I'm not gonna oink up or mess up the works by going over the entire thing.
No, we don't have to talk too much about it. We had a really good conversation.
We're looking for somebody to unite the country, and I don't think Biden or, God bless him, Trump is the guy to do that because they're just too divisive. And
Biden's just gone out of his way to divide the country. He's just awful.
Well, I mean, I get it.
I mean, he's gone out of his way to make enemies of each other. And Mr. Great Uniter, okay.
They all say they're going to be a great uniter.
They all say that, yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Do we want to play one of our Holy Crap segments? Do we want to go into News of the Weird and Wonderful? How do we want to get this party started?
Let's do the Chuck one.
All right. So this is last week's Chuck.
And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! Drug Sniffing Dogs Edition, August 9, 2023. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is the continued overwhelming evidence that corrupt, treasonous dictator Joe Biden lied repeatedly about being involved with his corrupt, treasonous son's extortion enterprises in China and Ukraine. So, Biden's corrupt, treasonous DOJ indicted Trump yet again. What is this, 3 or 4? I've lost count. If you can't beat him, prosecute him for your crimes. This time, they're after him for engaging in free speech. No, I am not making this up. They're even trying to stop him from entering evidence in his own case and demanded access to all of his private messages, then fined Elon Musk $350,000 for not releasing his DMs, which are also protected under the Constitution. Kudos to the administration for not letting a pesky little piece of paper stand in their way. The Cabbage Chief still can't get his son to stop snorting coke in the White House and biting Secret Service and other staffers. Of course, due to massive sweetheart plea deals, Hunter will face positively no repercussions. Whoops. It's not drug-addled treasonous Hunter who's biting Secret Service agents this week. It's old Joe's actual dog, Commander, that's taking command of the situation. Biden had to throw away his highly publicized rescue dog, Major, for the same reason. Seems like the doddering Alzheimer's patient can't get a handle on any family member. The big guy does have a certain charm about how he names his pets, though. Champ, Major, Commander, Hunter. Word is his next dog will be named Abandoned Marine. Since the weaponized FBI can hunt down a January 6th invading granny from grainy TikTok footage, but can't seem to figure out which Biden family member dropped his coke in the heavily surveilled West Wing, it stands to reason that now that the same Bidens are under investigation for bribery and tax evasion, the weaponized IRS has magically lost millions of both personal and business taxpayer documents. I swear, I am not making this up. No word yet on whether they could be stored next to a certain Corvette. RFK Jr. has made many enemies in his own party because he has a propensity to pay attention to things that Democrats are under contract to ignore, such as logic, freedom, and the crisis at the southern border. His recent visit to Yuma, Arizona, where a wave of Biden's pen halted all border construction even though it was already bought and paid for, made him only the second Democrat politician to have visited the high-traffic gap ever. Meanwhile, in LA, the plentiful homeless have begun attacking food delivery robots, because we didn't see that coming from 10 miles away. Since a leaky bioweapons lab next to a wet market in China is a little too secure and sanitary for the CCP's intentions, they've started creating pop-up labs in the United States. One such lab, containing nearly 1,000 bioengineered mice, incubators, freezers, unmarked bottles of toxic substances, and over 20 vials of deadly viruses, including COVID-19, was only discovered when a city official wandering outside the warehouse tripped over an illegally attached garden hose. I swear, I am not making this up. The occupants calmly explained that they were only making new COVID test kits, but couldn't explain why they were playing with all the other fun surprise viruses, including E. coli, malaria, and AIDS. They were able to explain that location is everything, and that is why they only set up their illegal operations where the smell of chemicals, rotting flesh, and bodily fluids would go wholly unnoticed, like California. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
All righty. Somebody in the chat said that Chuck didn't sound as nasally as he normally does, and I say it's because he had a cold.
There you go.
All right. Okay. This is ironic.
Yeah, it almost sounds like why we can't have nice things, but, whatever. It's ironic.
And it's loading. The company synonymous with working from home, like the ones that enabled all school children, all office workers, everybody during the entire pandemic, has asked all of its workers to return to the office. So Zoom enjoyed a huge spike in using, and it went from roughly 10 million daily users to more than 300 million over the course of the pandemic. You think about how many companies profited from this whole lockdown nonsense, and it
Right.
just doesn't pass
It's
the smell
mind-boggling.
test. Anyways, workers who live within a commutable distance of the company's offices, including in the UK, will be expected to make the journey at least on designated team days. So they don't have to come in every day, but they're wanting you to come in and show your face. The California-based firm had been slower than other companies to enforce such a mandate, perhaps because of its public perception as the key enabler of working from home. So they go on to talk about how it became a useful tool and this and that. I just thought it was funny that of all the companies out there, they're the ones that are asking folks to come back.
All right, well, now we get to talk about science.
Science! Bee-boo, bee-boo. This is really cool.
This is genuinely cool. A cosmic object in the shape of a glowing question mark has photobombed one of the latest images captured by NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, and scientists think they know what it might be. The original near-infrared image, released July 26, depicted a pair of young stars named Herbig-Haro 4647. Found 1,470 light years away. I can't even picture that. kind of distance. In the Vela constellation within the Milky Way galaxy, the stars are still actively forming and closely orbiting each other. The two have been observed and studied by space and ground-based telescopes since the 1950s. Rented lips there, not my own. But the highly sensitive Webb telescope allowed for the highest resolution and most detailed image yet. It has the capacity to observe the universe. Whoa.
The whole universe?
The entire universe. The whole universe with longer wavelengths of light than any other space telescopes. The Webb telescope illuminates information about the origins of our universe, but the appearance of this mysterious object in the background of this image leaves more questions than answers. You'll have to see the image on our website. Leaves more questions than answers.
Well,
The
it is a
cosmic
question.
question mark hasn't been closely observed or studied, so scientists aren't exactly sure about the object's origins and makeup. They do have a few ideas based on its shape and its location. The very first thing you can rule out is that it's a star in the Milky Way, said Matt Kaplan. I don't know why I gave him that
Yeah.
accent.
Because that's how, like, all the Carl Sagan types
Assistant
talk.
professor of physics at Illinois State University. Stars always have these really big spikes, and that's because stars are point-like. It's called diffraction from basically the edges of the mirrors and the struts that support the sort of camera in the middle. The Webb telescope usually allows you to see 6 or 8 stellar prongs if you look closely, Kaplan added. It tells you immediately that it's not a star, he said of the question mark-shaped phenomenon. It could be a merger of two galaxies. That's pretty badass. That approximately billions of light years away, or much farther away than Herbig-Haro 4647, said Christopher Britt. Now that's the guy I should have given the accent to.
Christopher Britt, there you go. Yeah,
Education and outreach scientist in the Office of Public Outreach at the Space Telescope Science Institute, which manages the Webb Telescope science operations. There are many, many galaxies outside of our own Milky Way, Britt said. This looks like the kind of thing that you get fairly frequently as galaxies grow and evolve. Okay, I see it now. There is a photo. It does look like a question
It does
mark.
very much look like a question mark.
Whoa, that's weird. As galaxies grow and evolve over cosmic time, which is that they sometimes collide with their near neighbors. When that happens, they get distorted into all kinds of different shapes, including a question mark, apparently. Wow.
Pretty cool,
Talk
huh?
about cosmic questions. I mean,
Cosmic questions. All right.
that looks like it was deliberate.
Yeah, it really does. It looks like it was drawn.
You
But
know?
imagine the magnitude of that thing, though. That thing's
Oh, it's gonna
humongous.
be gigantic.
Okay, hey, step on down. There's an inventory liquidation happening. You too can get a deal on all things Anheuser-Busch. Well,
Not your sales, babe. Anyway,
sorry, Bud Light. Yes, done screwed up. So now they are unloading. They have lost $27 billion in market value. Congratulations, everybody. Keep it up. Let's get Target and let's get Best Buy now. Apparently, they are now selling off 8 of their brands because they can no longer hold them up. So, I'm trying to read where it actually tells the story. Okay, although it's been several months, Bud Light, yada, far-reaching. They lost $27 billion. It's selling 8 of its beloved brands. I thought they listed them. Marketing VP.
This is a very
really
truncated
cleared-
version of the
Yeah,
story.
it's very, very truncated.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say what brands they are. If it's like Budweiser related, or if it's one of the brands they distribute, like Corona or
Yeah, it's
Stella
it's
or something like that.
yeah, it's more like those. Let's see. Yeah, where is the rest of the story? Okay, I'm going to see if I can find more.
Where is the rest of the story?
And now we need the rest of the story. Okay, Anheuser-Busch is selling 8 brands.
You youngsters wouldn't understand that one. But I want to read this one paragraph from this while you're looking that
Okay.
up. I just got to say this. I gots to say it. Gots to. For decades, Bud Light was the top-selling beer in America, but a 2023 survey shows it's now at number 15.
Ouch.
I mean, I thought, okay, so it fell to
Wow.
second. No,
Second,
it fell to
maybe
15.
third. Wow, 15th. Good job, folks.
See, this is what happens
And it gets better. They're selling them to a cannabis company. That's
Far
kind of
out,
funny. Shock Top, Breckenridge.
I like Shock Top. I didn't know that was a bud brand.
Blue Point Brewing Company, 10 Barrel Brewing Company, Red Hook, Widmer, Square Mile Cider, and Highball Energy.
So yeah, they're getting rid of their boutique craft beer brands in order.
So basically, they're getting rid of all their good beer.
Yeah, they're getting rid of all the good beer, and they're going to continue to look. Now, Melanie and I used to go to the Red Hook Brewery in Washington State all the time because they had the best beer and live music and probably the best bratwurst sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, they did have good brats.
So,
I did not realize that was an Anheuser-Busch company.
Well, they distribute them. They're not. They don't own them necessarily.
Okay.
But they might. I mean, they're not going to.
Yeah.
Maybe,
so they're being sold to Tilray Brands, which is a cannabis company in New York.
I just love it when this kind of corporate screw up actually gets its comeuppance.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Disney's about to get hammered again for this Snow Brown movie that's coming up next year.
Snow Brown.
Well, not to sound racist, it's a Hispanic woke woman starring.
Thank God it wasn't Asian, because that would have been Yellow Snow. Okay, I'm so fired.
Well, you know, this is gonna catch on. Snow White's been brownwashed. And it's
I'm sick of
and
them
they're talking
canceling
about how
gingers.
proud and she don't need no man and all this. It's like,
It's so dumb.
give me a break.
It's so dumb.
Just save yourself the money. Find the original. You can get it anywhere. You can get it online. Watch the DVD. Whatever. Pull out your old VHS. I don't even care. Steal somebody's Laserdisc player and watch it. I don't know. Just
Laserdisc player.
Laserdisc. Sorry.
What's a Laserdisc player?
Anyway.
Ow! Sharks.
Yeah, this is so beautiful. But yeah, they're selling off, and it's like one of the pundits we listen to all the time said, all they have to do is apologize. They won't
do it.
Apologize.
No, they'll double and triple and quadruple down. Now
it's
they're
like, well, we want to make beer for everybody. Tell them what we saw today. There was a video at Sturgis.
I mean,
they
had this
if you
whole
want to talk
beer
about a
garden.
beer guzzling bunch of people,
yeah,
it's at
and
Sturgis. By the way, our friend Ari Moore played there. Congratulations, you
did
rocked.
she?
She rocked the joint.
Well, of course she did. She's amazing.
But yeah,
so they had like this whole beer garden with a stage and
it was,
selling T-shirts and all kinds of stuff.
And it was to benefit Folds of Freedom.
Yeah, which sadly is a really great.
It's a great organization. We've discussed it on the show before. But
Tumbleweeds.
Ghost Town,
like
absolute nobody wanted anywhere near any Anheuser-Busch product. I'll bet Coors and Miller and all these other brands were doing fantastic, but this is hemorrhaged past the point of no return.
Yeah,
they really, honestly, if they wanted to save themselves, they shouldn't have sold Red Hook and all the rest of those. They should have sold Bud Light, the brand, to another company, just disposed of it. But they're not bright enough to do that. See, this is what happens when you hire out-of-touch, woke people who want to...
This is what happens when you try to comply with DEI.
Yeah.
You DIE. I mean...
Yeah. I am actually holding in my hand a Miller High Life that my wife was kind enough to buy for me. If I want to drink cheap beer...
I'm drinking a warm, flat cherry soda.
anything. Just not Bud Light.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm staying away from Budweiser Regular and Michelob, Anheuser-Busch Dark, whatever there's out there that they make. I mean, I didn't even know Red Hook was made by them, but they don't sell that out here anyway. But it's
tweaks that you can make in your life. Like, we no longer shop at Target. I never liked shopping at Best Buy because their customer service is abysmal, and now that we know that they're anti-white crazy, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, the last thing I bought from them was months ago was a filter for a lens from one of my cameras, and I just got it because it was convenient to buy it there, but it's just as convenient to order it online and have them mail it to me, so whatever. I stopped liking Best Buy a long time ago. Big box stores annoy me. They do.
Well, and like I said, their customer service stank. When I was looking for a cell phone, I went there first thinking, oh, they'll have a good selection. They have people that help you. They wear the blue shirts and all that. And nope, nobody would even talk to me. When I asked about it, a guy pointed and walked away, and that's as close as I got. So I ended up getting it at Walmart.
Yeah.
I got
It's kind of sad
way
that
better
Walmart
customer
provides
service.
better customer
Yeah.
service than, but I mean,
and a better price.
well, customer service disappeared from Radio Shack. That's the real reason they closed down.
It is.
I
Absolutely.
went to, they
I
used to be
love Radio Shack.
in the 80s. I bought television sets and stereo equipment there, not because it was less expensive. It wasn't. Not because they offered a credit card, although they did, and I did use it, but it was because they knew what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to the 90s, I go in there, a guy in a T-shirt, who I assume is just another customer, eventually approaches me and said, hey, it's
You gonna
like,
buy anything, old man?
Yeah, and so I bought a turntable. I'm not sure why I did that at that particular store. And then by the time we got to Las Vegas, it was over. I walked into one just because I needed something. I don't even remember what the hell it was. At the time, Sprint was a going concern, and they were transitioning to a Sprint store. But that's all they were selling. And I stood there for 20 minutes. My presence was not acknowledged. I might as well have been a turnip plant. It was absolutely stupid. So, the very last time we went was to get a DVD player because it was closing down. I knew I'd get a cheap price on it.
Yeah.
So that was it.
That was it. Did we actually get the DVD player there?
I did get it. Yeah, that's where I got it. It was a really small one. We left it behind in Vegas because of streaming, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think we even brought any DVDs with us.
I have a couple boxes of DVDs.
Oh, like
because
the
you
box sets, like Casablanca and
yeah,
things like that.
the hard to find are the expensive ones, just because I mean I can get a DVD player for this laptop, or I can play one on your computer, the Command Central computer. I just don't see the need anymore. The only advantage to DVDs is you get all those extras, the documentaries and the
which you can
commentary. But I mean, I love that stuff. That's why I like to continue to get them. But
well, we
I got to be practical at the same time.
I
I'm old.
ripped
I
most of our the ones that we were going to keep. I ripped most of them onto a hard drive.
Right.
So we have all of your cartoons. We have all of the Monty Python. We have all of that on hard drive.
I know. It makes me happy to know it's there.
All right. Well, this next one comes out of our old stomping grounds.
Old. Oh my, yes.
So on her way out of her job as a Seattle police lieutenant, Jessica Taylor handed in a letter raking the city's left-wing leaders over the coals for destroying her once great city. I was just talking to a friend who lives in the area, and she said it is a dystopian nightmare.
The town where Melanie and I lived after we met.
Well, the two towns next to each other, Kent and Auburn, last time I visited was 2, maybe 3 years ago, and I didn't recognize Auburn, the town I grew up in. It was garbage everywhere, homeless everywhere, needles in the streets, boarded up businesses, and it was like, oh, this is so sad. So sad.
I'm afraid I will probably never set foot in that town.
Yeah, apparently all the Denny's have been shut down. The Sherry's is shut down. Remember Sherry's when the power was out? That was like the only...
When she said that, it didn't break my heart, but it cracked it a little bit.
It was kind of a ping. It was a ping.
It was...
because there's so many people, so many times that we've met there late at night, so many... that's where you would meet somebody who's coming from Federal Way or whatever. It's kind of the midpoint, And she said there's people with, bruises and track marks walking back and forth, tweakers everywhere. They've had to shut down a lot of businesses because they keep getting broken into. So sad.
So what are they going to do about it?
They're going to vote Democrat harder.
Okay.
Because that's what they always do.
Yeah, please tell us about this.
All right. Taylor retired from the police department on August 1st after 23 years on the job. But instead of simply filling out the usual exit interview form, she left a scathing note blasting police chief Adrian Diaz, Mayor Bruce Harrell and the Seattle City Council for driving Seattle into anarchy and chaos. She shared her 15-page full frontal attack on the city's failed leadership with a radio station and spoke to him about her frustrations. I wanted to go out with the truth, she told Jason Rantz on his TV show. I wonder if they gave us the whole thing. Chief Diaz, let me tell you, the state of the Seattle Police Department and the city is a disgrace, she wrote in the letter. The toxic mix of the Seattle City Council's absurdity, the spinelessness of the mayor, the leniency of the prosecutor's office, and your failed leadership has accelerated the city's downhill slide straight to rock bottom. The problems were already brewing before you came on the scene, but since your arrival, it's been a free fall into anarchy and chaos. The retired officer added that extremist city officials have lost touch with reality, making decisions that defy common sense and basic logic. Their priority is playing politics and pandering to radical ideologies rather than genuinely serving the cities. And it's I guess I'm borrowing my lips too. Maybe we should swap. Rather than genuinely serving the city's and its residents' best interests. See, they made one possessive and the next not, and it confused the daylights out of me. Taylor said of the council members, their absurd policies have turned Seattle into a playground for anarchists and criminals, and they seem utterly unconcerned with the devastating consequences of their actions. If you haven't noticed, the criminals are running this city.
That could be taken a couple of different ways, and they both make me happy.
Taylor also blasted Harrell for lacking the courage to take on his own city council. Instead of taking
Decisive.
I know the word. I just couldn't say. I was thinking divisive. Decisive action to protect the city and its citizens, the mayor ignores the rampant lawlessness on our streets. It's a disgrace to see a city leader prioritize political correctness over the safety and well-being of its people. The former cop went on to lament that the council's leftism is bringing a perfect storm of incompetence and chaos to Seattle and wonder how officials aren't embarrassed by their failures. Because they're leftist. They don't feel embarrassment. You have to have a conscience for that. It's no wonder Seattle has become a laughingstock of the nation and the globe. Maybe next to Portland. They are laughing about us on the international news. Aren't you embarrassed? I am. It's mortifying. The city that once prided itself on progressiveness and prosperity has now become a hotbed of crime and anarchy. She said the radical city leaders care more about pandering to extreme ideologies than actually governing. Remember,
Amen.
this is the town that passed a law that if you don't allow your children to transition, they will be taken away from you.
Right.
And then turn around and say, well, children aren't transitioning, then why do you need that law? Instead of taking decisive action to protect the city and its citizens, the mayor disregards the rampant lawlessness in our streets. It's a disgrace to see a city leader prioritize political correctness over the safety and well-being of its people. Listen, Seattle deserves better, and it's time for a complete overhaul of the leadership that has driven this city and state into the ground. Taylor said she had developed trigeminal neuralgia, a chronic medical condition that causes intermittent but severe facial pain. She said she feared the COVID-19 vaccine would make the condition worse, so she applied for a medical exemption for the city's vaccine mandate. But instead of being given the exemption, the department punished her by suspending her without pay. Oh my God. They suspended her because she didn't want to get... She had a medical exemption, and they punished her and suspended her because she had a medical condition. These people are out of control. She also said the adherents of the defund the police movement on what she called the radical city council destroyed the morale of the department. SPD is dangerously understaffed, and the officers and their families are suffering. The hours are ruthlessly long, and due to the staffing crisis created by you, the mayor, and the council, these unsafe conditions are entirely unacceptable, completely. They have been working for years without a contract, also unacceptable. I can't believe they suspended her because she had a medical exemption. Taylor said she is distraught over the conditions she and her fellow officers have been forced to work under, which she said are making Seattle a more dangerous place. She said she could not just retire without speaking out about the destruction of the city she loves. She closed her letter by saying, "You offered me an opportunity for an honest exit interview, and here it is. I will always stand up for what's right and what I believe in, even if I am standing alone."
Good for you.
Oh, I like that. While Seattle is certainly one of the most extreme examples of how leftism is uniquely destructive, other cities are also suffering from the same foolish policies. Chicago, New York's on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, New York might as well be Maui at this point. San Francisco, St. Louis, Portland, and so many more are also suffering as a result of dangerous woke policies. And like Seattle, the police department in these cities are experiencing a severe shortage of manpower as officers retire and potential recruits turn them away. The result is that big city living has become dangerous for the average citizen, and there is no relief in sight as extreme left-wing politicians entrench themselves and their radical ideology. I say you have to live where you vote and face what you voted for. So, enjoy.
Good letter, though. Good letter.
All right. We've got a new sponsor, so let's hear from our new sponsor.
Hi, it's me again, your favorite trader. And you know what that means? It's time to shop at your local Traitor Joe's. This week, you can pick up a box of our Fetterman fettuccine for half off when you buy one at full price. Best served completely fried next to a collapsed bridge. We also have a special purchase on rubber gators, Winnebagos, rudaboters. Oh, you know, the big ugly turnip things. They're yummy, damn it. Thanks to a special deal I personally made with a supplier, you can get a bottle of Vladimir's Vigorous Vodka for just 10 lousy bucks. Lovingly distilled in Kiev by Ukrainian orphans and widows, it goes great with Coke. Pepsi. Yeah, Pepsi. Or RC, whatever. Definitely not Coke. There's no Coke at Trader Joe's. At least none anyone can trace anyway. And don't forget to sign up for our drawing for a free pint of Pelosi ice cream, featuring our newest flavor, Crony Spumoni. A 50, 70, $25 value. What are you waiting for? Come by Trader Joe's, or I'll take you out back by the woodshed. And don't forget to ask my son about our influencer specials.
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things.
There's lots of reasons not to have nice things. This is one story.
Blink, blink.
A woman accused of burglarizing an apartment in Seattle. Back to Seattle, huh? A woman accused of burglarizing an apartment in Seattle's First Hill neighborhood was shot and injured after releasing 3 pit bulls that attacked the building manager and other residents, police said.
Good Lord.
Seattle police said they plan to request charging the 37-year-old woman with residential burglary and the 50-year-old apartment manager for reckless endangerment after Friday's incident. The manager for 1020 Apartments, hopefully not one of your sister's things, a 45-unit building on University Street, oh, never mind, that ain't going to be it, said Sunday that he accidentally shot the woman in the collarbone while trying to scare the attacking dogs after a series of escalating events. The Seattle Times does not name people who have not been charged. The manager is not being named because it is unclear whether he has been charged. All right. He said the problem started when he received a text from a tenant complaining of a woman banging on residents' doors. He said he approached the woman, who he said was staying in her boyfriend's apartment while he was away. 15 minutes later, another resident called in to say she was attacked by the 3 pit bulls after getting off the elevator. Video footage showed the woman, who had been pounding on doors, entering the unit next to her boyfriend's and releasing the dogs whose owner had left his apartment's front. She said, "Don't leave your doors unlocked when you live in an apartment."
Duh.
Don't just,
I mean, that's
especially
just
in a
adulting
big city.
101. I mean, my Lord.
Oh my Lord. The manager said he called police, who responded about 10:30 p.m., even though he called them at 4. I'm kidding. But left after finding the dogs had been returned to their owner's apartment. Probably didn't do a darn thing because they're Seattle police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Within minutes, officers returned after hearing reports that a woman had been shot. Should have stuck around, boys. In the time that the officers were gone, the dogs escaped, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting there fighting 2 pit bulls, and I got a gash in my hand. I got this bite down my ribs. I got a bite puncture my leg, the manager said. He said he was able to trap the dogs between the building's 2 sets of front doors, but released them to the woman who had initially let the dogs out. I'm like, okay, if this dog bites me again, that's on you, the building manager said. So I let the door go.
Dummy.
And of course, the dog comes after me again. He said the woman took the dogs outside, and as he returned to his apartment to call 911, he heard a scream, grabbed his gun, which he should have had to begin with, and ran outside to find a couple holding their dog over their heads while the pit bulls jumped on them.
Oh my gosh. That'd be terrifying.
The manager said
that would be terrifying.
The manager said he fired 3 shots, 1 shot in the air to scare the dogs, and 2 more when they didn't stop. One of the bullets struck the woman.
The one who let them all out?
I don't know anymore. So he again called 911, he said. Police said medics transported the woman to Harborview Medical Center with a gunshot near her collarbone. She told officers there that she had entered the department to let the dogs out and had stolen several items. Because that's what you do. You confess that you stole several items.
And release the hounds.
Police did not take the dogs, although they should have, and they have been returned to their owner's apartment.
It wasn't the dog's fault, but...
Yeah, still. According to the building manager, who said he would file a report with Animal Control on Monday and tell the owner to either get rid of the dogs or be evicted. Evict them. Please, don't worry about the dogs. Evict the woman, man, dude, whatever. By Saturday afternoon, the woman who let them out was back in the building.
It wasn't the owner's fault either. Why are they getting punished?
I don't know.
It was the crazy lady who broke in.
Ah, there's better. By Saturday afternoon, the woman who let them out was back in the building and banging on residents' doors again, the building manager said.
Seriously?
That's when you use the gun.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Once again, this is why that police officer left that letter, man. I'm telling you.
That's Seattle for you.
That's Seattle.
Yeehaw.
Not the city I used to live in, I'm telling you. It's no longer even remotely like that. I miss that Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle used to be fun and beautiful.
Oh, I remember us going to the Christmas festival downtown.
Yeah, riding the carousel.
Westlake Village. There's no way I'd go back there now. Or Westlake Center, I mean.
Yeah. Oh no, it is a feces infested, nasty, homeless camp. I mean, it's awful. It's just awful now.
Rats.
And this is why we can't have nice things.
Your chain.
Okay, this is going to break your little bitty heart, Jim.
Why?
Well, because it involves...
my favorite fast food place?
Substandard tacos.
Oh, no.
A New York man last year bought a Mexican pizza at Taco Bell thinking the menu item would look like the one in the advertisements he had seen.
Fool.
With a thick, appetizing layer of ground meat and beans. Instead, what he got for his $5.49. Remember when those were 99 cents?
Yeah.
Had him invoking another fast food chain's famous tagline of yore.
Where's the beef?
That is according to a class action lawsuit that Frank Siragusa filed today with the U.S. District Court in the Eastern District of New York on behalf of himself and other customers disappointed by the amount of fillings, or lack thereof, in Taco Bell's Mexican pizza items. I didn't even know they had beef in them. That's how little beef is in them. I know. I had one like last week, and I thought it was just beans. There's no meat on them at all. He's right. As well as its crunch wraps.
Love the crunch wraps.
Oh, man, I used to love crunch wraps. Siragusa accused... Now I want Taco Bell. Dang it. Siragusa accuses Taco Bell of unfair and material... I'm probably closed by the time we're done. Unfair and materially misleading advertising and is seeking upward of $5 million from the chain for alleged violations of law banning unfair and deceptive trade practices. The Mexican pizza that plaintiff purchased contained approximately half the beef and bean filling that he expected, the lawsuit says. The lawsuit includes photos used by Taco Bell in its advertising. Well, everybody knows that they cheat on the advertisements. There's a whole YouTube devoted to comparing the advertising of
I mean,
burgers to the
the
actual
Big Macs
burger.
on the TV commercials when I was a kid.
Yeah, so juicy and
Oh my
yummy
God,
looking.
they looked amazing. And then you buy it,
and then you
it's-
get one, and it's like pathetic.
I mean, they're okay. But
Alongside photos of the actual items taken by customers, the latter of which look flat and unappealing next to the company's images. The lawsuit posits that Siragusa and others wouldn't have shelled out the money for the crunch wraps and pizzas if they had known they were getting punier versions of the ones depicted. In addition to compensating people who bought the products, the lawsuit also asked Taco Bell to provide correct advertisements or stop selling the items. Well, you're going to have to do that across the board then, because they all do it.
yeah.
A representative for Taco Bell did not immediately respond, of course. Taco Bell's actions are especially concerning now that inflation, food, and meat prices are very high, and many consumers, especially lower-income consumers, are struggling financially. One of the attorneys representing Siragusa, Anthony Russo, represented a Florida Burger King customer last year in a similar lawsuit. In that filing, a man who purchased a burger from the chain complained that the company made its burgers appear far beefier than they are in real life. Little situations, what some would consider to be a little situation like this, could lead to unfettered behavior from big corporations, Russo said last year in an interview at the Washington Post. The lawsuit filed this week included similar claims to the media and by YouTube reviewers about Taco Bell's offerings. One article on the food site Mashed.com titled Why Reddit is Calling Out Taco Bell's Skimpy Crunch Wraps documented multiple people complaining about the popular menu item, which consists of a crisp tortilla stuffed with seasoned beef, nacho cheese, and other toppings. The Mexican pizza, a pair of crunchy tortillas sandwiching a meaty filling and topped with cheese and other garnishes, is a fan favorite. I used to love the Nachos Bel Grande, and one of the best parts about that is the green onions, and they don't use green onions anymore.
I know you'd think after this much time they would have returned them.
Nope. Why? People got used to not having them anymore. So have one E. coli scare, and you're like, well, you don't get that ingredient anymore. I'm surprised you can still get tomatoes.
Yeah. Don't say that out loud.
Fan favorite item that Taco Bell returned to its menu last year after drawing outcry for discontinuing it in 2020. The chain hyped the revival, including a TikTok musical featuring Dolly Parton and Doja Cat. Okay. Taco Bell's legal department has been busy of late. The chain earlier this month prevailed in a dispute with the smaller brand Taco John's, which had held the trademark to the phrase Taco Tuesday in most of the country. Taco John's said it was relinquishing control over the moniker rather than pay attorney's fees to tussle with its larger rival. Okay, Taco Bell, you have officially lost a customer. Go
No,
after
you
some
haven't.
smaller guy. That is just obnoxious. I hate that.
Yeah, they did that in Federal Way when I lived there. There was a a different company. There was a small video place, a little video store, which, this is back before streaming and all that crap, called Hollywood Video. And
I remember Hollywood Video. Yeah.
And then one day, a couple of suits from this big corporation, which was actually much newer, also called Hollywood Video, came in, didn't say a word to him, looked around, treated him rudely, left, and then sued
And they
him.
were there first.
Yeah.
They were there first.
Yes, they were.
So obnoxious. I hate
And,
that.
because he's this one horse pony.
Yeah.
One
Poor
horse
guy.
pony.
One
Anyway,
horse. One,
he's-
one horse pony.
Boy.
Dog
Anyway,
faced pony
he was
soldier.
this-
Okay.
Yeah, he was this one
One horse
small store.
operation.
One horse operation is what I
Yes.
meant to say. Thank you.
One
He
trick
just
pony,
said,
one horse
screw it and
operation.
closed down. He wasn't going to mess with it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they went out of business too. A bunch of jerks.
Bunch of jerks.
Yeah, a bunch of jerks.
Yeah,
Taco Bell won't go out of
bunch of-
business, at least as long as I'm alive. They won't go out of business, but still kind of a rancid thing to do. But I'm used to them. I'm used to being small. I don't expect gigantic tacos when I go to Taco Bell.
No, they've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, and I'm still not sure what the mystery meat is in them. They say it's beef, but
No, the one at Jack in the Box is mystery meat. I don't know.
yeah, that's true. And I think I recognize lettuce in there, but
That's why we go to Rosa's.
Rosa's does have good
And
stuff.
they have Taco Bueno, which is pretty decent, but
I
it's
love how
like
you say
way
Taco
too far away.
Bueno.
Taco Bueno.
Taco
But it's
Bueno.
way too far away from our place. I forgot, and I went out to get tacos for us the other day, and it was like stupidly cold by the time I brought it home. Texas has different Dairy Queens than the rest of the country too. They have tacos there, which is unusual, but
And you can't throw a rock without hitting a Mexican joint around.
Oh, I
here.
know. There's a bunch of them. Just not Taco Bell.
All right, your turn, my dear. Enough beating up on Taco Bell.
Enough beating up on Taco Bell. Let's beat up on somebody else. All righty. Sounds like a lot of fun. Great way to spend a day. A Maryland man who else committed over a dozen hit and run crashes in a stolen ambulance alone, in addition to driving a stolen truck on several major Northern Virginia highways this weekend before being taken into custody in the District of Columbia. So, all right. Virginia State Police said there were no reports of serious injuries in Saturday's crashes on portions of Interstate 66, I-395, and the George Washington Memorial Parkway. According to the State Police news release, the driver identified as identified as Darrell T. Caldwell, 30, of Brandywine, Maryland.
Wow, 3 named Darrell T. Caldwell.
Sounds like he was drinking a bit much brandy wine before he went. Anyway, was charged by the federal and local law enforcement. State police charges are still pending. Caldwell was being evaluated at a hospital Saturday evening. String of accidents began shortly after 3:30 p.m. when state police responded to a two-vehicle crash in the eastbound lanes of I-66. Caldwell was identified as the driver of one of the vehicles, a truck that had been reported stolen in Virginia, police said. Truck left the scene, and almost immediately thereafter, police responded to a multi-vehicle crash in the northbound lanes of I-395 caused by the same truck, leading 5 people to be sent to the hospital. What in the
Yikes.
poop? This guy's amazing. Anyway, almost done there. Truck left the scene, and almost immediately thereafter, police responded to a multi-vehicle crash in the northbound lanes of I-395 caused by the same truck, leading 5 people to be sent to the hospital. I think I already said that. According to police, Caldwell left on foot, and minutes later, state police responded to a crash on the parkway involving another truck that was driving the wrong way and which hit another car. It wasn't clear how Caldwell acquired the second truck. It's clear to me he stole the darn thing.
Yeah.
When an Arlington County ambulance responding to the I-395 crash also stopped at the parkway accident, Caldwell drove off in it as medics treated another driver, news release said. A trooper alerted to the stolen ambulance began a pursuit and caught up to the emergency vehicle. At one point, the ambulance stopped in the road, only to ram the trooper's patrol car when the trooper was getting out.
Oh my God.
Oh boy, that's a nasty. You hurt a trooper or his car. You might as well. You're just going to sign your life away at this point.
Yeah.
State and Arlington County police pursued the ambulance, which ultimately got on a 395 express lane and entered Washington before striking a parked car. Caldwell was taken into custody without incident. News release said it. I would say there were lots of incidents. Anyway, Haley Ruggiero was driving near Reagan National Airport when she was rear-ended by the ambulance. WUSA TV reported Ruggiero was surprised when neither the ambulance nor the officer following it stopped. I'm thankful to be alive right now. I just hope that justice is served for all of us that were affected. Well,
Jeez.
Dang. That's pretty bad.
Don't live in a city, people. Just don't do it. Just seriously, don't do it.
As long as where you live has a Taco Bell, you're okay.
Do they have Taco Bells in the big city?
Taco Bell's in every big city, every small city too, except for this one. Don't understand that.
We have a Taco. Well, okay, our teeny tiny town, but the next town over does.
Oh yeah. But still like a 15-minute drive away. Anyway. Oh yeah, okay, here's one. I think Chuck is going to be mentioning this briefly, but anyway.
Yeah, actually we can skip that one.
Okay.
Well, no. Yeah, let's skip it.
Let's skip it
because Chuck does talk about it, and we'll let him do the talking. And speaking of Chuck, we're at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and
do Chuck 2.
We'll do Chuck after the mid-reel. Let's go ahead and hit our returning advertiser.
Oh, that's right. I'm so short-minded lately.
At Deanna School of Diction, we have helped launch many careers, from actors you know and love to CEOs of major corporations. We've also assisted those who serve you in politics. Here are some of our most famous graduates.
And I came away from the job really understanding the necessary for the juncture. And anything we can do to help, I think we should.
Yeah, I've never been to Hawaii, and neither does my family. I guess I haven't crashed a bank, you know. So given that I'm the last person, I don't have much left to ask, but I will, let me ask you this one particular question to put to everyone here on that. And is it an inside joke?
For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
To finishing the NDA this week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
If you're looking to start your political career by boosting your communication skills, call
Joe 30330
today. Deanna School of Diction, the language of fame.
Excuse me.
In this digital society, making connections is quickly becoming a lost art form. Yet, if you are a small business owner, building your network is the only way you can get ahead. Can these skills be learned? You bet they can. Read Nose to Nose Networking. No-nonsense, in-person networking tips from a master. Who's the master? Well, who better to teach networking and friend-building skills than a golden retriever? The author, Melanie Hope, takes the antics of Abigail and translates them into the human experience. Through Abby, you will learn how to set your intention, build a network, and get into and out of conversations with grace. Find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, in hard copy or on Kindle or Nook. Visit counterculturewise.com for direct links.
My fellow Americans, this is Donald Trump, the best president ever. Better than Washington, Lincoln, Coolidge, Hoover, or Harding. That's a funny one. Harding got that skater smacked in the knees. I will be making a big announcement soon about a dirty joke using the name Harding. But I'm even better than Garfield. Although he's the most like me, he's fat, orange, and he likes junk food. I love junk food. He does too. Great cat. Today's announcement is my biggest announcement ever. I have put my name on hotels, resorts, and golf courses all over the world. And they are great, and the best ones anywhere. They've been a huge success, but none of that compared to the success of my NFT cards. Due to their success, I am now offering, for the first time, a genuine, original replica of a deck of cards from my old Taj Mahal casino, which should still be under my name, but what can you do? I only have 3 decks in stock due to the printing press in the basement breaking down, So you'll want to jump on the chance to own this rare piece of casino history. This unique deck can be yours for only $499.95. Now with the purchase of one deck, the best deck in America, believe me, you will be entered into a drawing to win dinner and a round of golf with me at my international golf links in Scotland. If you buy 2, I'll spring for dinner. Why not? If you buy all 3, I'll even pay your airfare. Where can you find another deal like that? Nowhere. You can't. For my working class fans, I'm also offering for the first time my own line of light bulbs. The brightest ones ever. Certainly brighter than that dim bulb Joe Biden, right? Right? Remember, DJT is better than GE. Let's face it, General Electric wasn't even a real general. It was fake news. It's sad. Very sad. Fake news. And now an announcement even bigger than my biggest announcement. In the spring, I will be introducing my own line of breakfast cereals. Trump cereals are going to be the most delicious and healthiest breakfast cereals ever. Kellogg's will no longer be great. Post will be in the past. And the big G is going to stand for gone. You'll be able to start your best day ever with a nice crunchy bowl of the greatest granola, Special D, and my personal favorite, honey sweetened Melanios. That's going to be great. You won't want to eat anything else at all, ever. These purchases will help me continue to flog the dead horse of the 2020 election, which we all know was stolen. So do your part and buy these great products and at least keep me relevant. Go to I'mASucker.com/Trump today. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Any bank that's worth a bag of salt these days offers you alerts about your balance and your credit score. But is just knowing your balance really helping you? You need honest, in-the-moment financial advice from a trusted voice. At For Reals Bank, we are taking it to the next level. Introducing For Reals Alerts, the most honest money messaging you've ever experienced. You choose the voice that best fits your personality and needs, and we'll do the rest.
Dang, girl, you's a broke-ass hoe. You need to slow down and stop spending your baby daddy's hard-earned money. And what are you doing shopping at Macy's? You could have got that at the dollar store.
For the love of God, stop buying her drinks! Dude, she's already told you she's not going out with you! Besides, your alcoholic ass doesn't have any money left! Where were you gonna take her, the laundromat? For God's sake, stop already!
All right, lard-ass. After the 4th Arby's and 7th McDonald's transaction this week, we've locked your account for any more purchases outside of protein powder and a gym membership. Start walking and stop driving through, lardball!
According to our records, your savings balance is currently $0.08. Your most recent transaction was a withdrawal of $5,452,926.48, made 5 hours ago by your now former business partner, Bob. Bob is now on a private plane with your wife heading for an undisclosed island in the Pacific. I have connected to your GPS and am now searching for the tallest building nearby with an accessible roof.
Go to forrealsbank.com to sign up today. For Reals Bank, member FDIC, the Federally Dependent Idiots Committee. Max, stop yelling to be let out. It's dark out, and there are all kinds of things out there that will get you. Name one, Father! Well, for starters, there's the bison. They'll trample anything that even comes close. Well, then I'll avoid the hooved monstrosities. The smell alone is enough to keep anyone away. They are delicious, though. There's also coyotes. We see them all the time in the fields. What would I care about coyotes? I have no interest in crossing the border. That's not the kind... Never mind. Our neighbor Mike says he's seen some mountain lions in the area, too. Well, I am from Las Vegas, so that makes me a valley lion. I'm sure we'd have plenty to talk about. No, Max, these are really big cats. Predators. These are cougars. Oh, Father, I am not afraid of cougars. Mumsy was a cougar before she married you. I may not be as long in the tooth as you are, but I am certainly no spring kitten anymore, and thus not cougar bait. That's not the kind... Never mind. Look, I'm putting my foot down. You are not going outside in the middle of the night in the middle of the heart of Texas. There's rattlesnakes and scorpions and skunks and armadillos and... what now? They're a kind of armored possum. Never mind. Just trust me. You don't want to mess with them. I don't know, Father. Those dillo things sound delicious. Plus, there's those shiny green bugs. Max, those are poisonous. Oh, Father, you worry too much. I am a grown cat. I can take care of myself.
Max, can you come help me with my pillow? It just doesn't feel cuddly enough.
Duty calls, Father. We will continue this discussion another time, but before I leave, I want to remind our dear listeners and viewers to visit our merch store. You can choose from a wide variety of apparel, accessories, and other goodies. Please keep us afloat. Please help keep Chuck around to report the crazy goings-on in Washington, wherever that is, and elsewhere. I swear, he is not making this up. By contributing today, you will also help keep Mumsy and Father on their anxiety meds. Hey! For these reasons and so many more, I beseech you to visit our merch store at counterculturewise.com. And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap, this is actually happening! Look at All the Chips edition, August 13, 2023. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is that Nestle USA has had to recall their chocolate chip cookie dough bars because of the presence of wood chips. Wait, what? You'd think they would have learned their lesson after having to recall a different cookie dough product last October because of the potential presence of white plastic pieces. Nestle says they are working closely with the FDA, but this reporter feels that perhaps they aren't working closely enough. The nanosecond Donald Trump got subpoena power for the January 6th hearings he's facing, massive amounts of the collected evidence by the J6 committee magically disappeared. No, I solemnly swear I am not making this up. Now that the Democrats know they can get away with just saying oopsie for everything from hiding secret documents in their garage to doing blow in the West Wing to drowning hookers and chefs, they don't even bother to destroy evidence old-school Hillary style like with bleach bit or hammers. Crypto scammer Sam Bankman-Fried couldn't keep his big yap shut long enough to stay out of jail and was popped back in on Friday for trying to tamper with witnesses. The prince of a guy sent private texts to the New York Times in an effort to ruin his ex-girlfriend's reputation so that her testimony against him would be questioned. The good news, for Fried anyway, is that he gets to go to rich man's prison, so instead of enjoying the California sunshine on house arrest, he'll be hanging by the pool or the tennis courts with the likes of Ghislaine Maxwell. Since raising gas prices, increasing inflation, funding a war with Russia, and prosecuting his opponents hasn't helped old Joe's campaign as much as he hoped it would, Biden is trying a new tactic, pretending that he can tell companies to lower their prices and not charge extra fees, and they'll just do it on his say-so, because making a profit is so 2016. The current regime is stealing and then spending literally trillions of your hard-earned dollars so that they can raise prices to save you money. Even Biden himself says that the Inflation Reduction Act, which was so named because it funnels tax money into several pet projects and doesn't do a damn thing to reduce inflation, isn't working. And that's how Bidenomics works. But hey, at least Vegas will have to rename their resort fees. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
This is not Bubble Waters. It is no longer 2020. But this is your new abnormal.
It helps in Ohio that we got Democrats in charge of the machines. But look, I come from Chicago, so I want to be honest. It's not as if it's just Republicans who have monkeyed around with elections in the past. Sometimes Democrats have too. You know, whenever people are in power, they have this tendency to try to, tilt things in their direction.
这是真的一场
Vagina.
That never gets old.
Vagina.
Vagina. That just never gets old. Yeah, good old bummer out there just saying the quiet part out loud. It's like they have... Okay, it isn't like they have no shame. They literally have no shame. Like, none. They're not even trying to pretend to hide it anymore. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
So
what do we got? What do we got? What do we got?
We're back to a science one.
Ooh.
Yay, science.
Oh, yeah. I have a question about this one.
Yeah? What is your question?
Well, I wrote the question. I'll let you read some of it, and you can see my
I'm
question.
trying not to do that.
You got to read it first, and then
how
ask
in the I'm quoting Melanie here.
No, you can ask the question after. Because first you have to read the thing and
okay. I thought you were reading it.
I'll read it. Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, then I can ask my question. All right. UK scientists have begun developing vaccines as an insurance against a new pandemic caused by an unknown disease X. Do they mean Twitter?
I think they mean a different disease.
Oh. The work is being carried out by the government's high-security Porton Down laboratory complex in Wiltshire by a team of more than 200 scientists. They have drawn up a threat list of animal viruses that are capable of infecting humans and could, in future, spread rapidly around the world.
Naturally.
Which of them will break through and trigger the next pandemic is unknown, which is why it's only referred to as Disease X. So here's my question.
Yeah.
How in the living Christ can you make a vaccine for a virus that doesn't exist yet? I call BS on this.
You call malarkey shenanigans and monkey
shenanigans, monkey shines, monkeygins, all the things, yes. What we're trying to do here is ensure that we prepare so that if we have a new disease X, a new pathogen, we have done as much of that work in advance as possible. What work? Hopefully we can prevent a pandemic, but if we can't and we have to respond, then we have already started developing vaccines and therapeutics to crack it. That's what's called the Maxi Smacks. Max is like, I'm not buying this. Scientists at the center are now involved in monitoring several high-risk pathogens, including bird flu, monkeypox, and hantavirus, a disease spread by rodents.
Yay.
One early success is the world's first vaccine against Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever, a disease that's spread by ticks and has a fatality rate of 30%. Now, see, that's a real disease.
No, that's a serious one.
Not 0.002. The disease is becoming more common in Europe as global temperatures rise, and some travelers have returned to the UK with the infection. You know, they cannot write. These people cannot write a single article without mentioning climate change.
No.
It's like a sickness. It's literally a sickness. It's so insane. It's like, I trained my cat to high five, and, well, he'd high five higher if it weren't for climate change. It's like, really? Completely unrelated. Oi, your turn.
This is directly from Best Buy, or as we say in a household joke, Best Buy.
We mentioned it briefly earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say we did. This is directly from their website.
Yes.
Stop me when you hear something wrong here.
Okay.
Best Buy employees are taking their talents to new levels through a training course that helps empower high-performing managers and establish a diverse workforce.
Well,
so
that's
far,
nice.
so
That
good.
sounds very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I'm behind that.
As part of Best Buy's commitment to develop and support our employees who identify as Black, Indigenous, or people of color,
Wait.
or BIPOC.
Identify as?
Yeah.
Not okay.
The irony is the photograph of all these Best Buy employees that festoons the top of this this article. There's several white people, but those don't seem to. I'm just going to assume they all identify as Black.
They're going to have to identify. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they all look
we've
like they're
partners-
maybe that one chick and the bald
Yeah.
dude that's talking to him. But
We've partnered with McKinsey and Company to offer the McKinsey Management Accelerator Program. The McKinsey Management Accelerator Program, or the MAP, focuses on professional.
actually, the MAP, like minor attracted person,
Yeah,
otherwise known as pedo.
yeah. Focuses on.
Ooh, I said a bad word. We're gonna get kicked off of YouTube now. Not that
I
anybody
used
would
to have
notice.
pedos on my bikes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not that anybody would notice.
Focuses on professional career development. Hey, we're having fun here.
Somebody else agrees with me with how bad customer service is. High-performing Best Buy managers, is that a thing? Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
No, they smoke dope and then come into work and perform.
Yeah.
Anyway. I know. Anyway, McKinsey and Company, they focus on professional career development by customizing its curriculum and discussions to unique situations, experiences, and opportunities of BIPOC professionals. Not their freaking customers. No, we
forget
don't,
the customers.
We don't want to deal with the customers. Let's just make you better managers without, doing any managing or doing any customers. Anyway, the program is set up in a mini MBA style that covers topics like strategy development, critical thinking, networking, and problem solving. Now, where's the critical thinking and all this? Anyway, the McKinsey Accelerator Program has been a great challenge.
Critical race thinking is what it is.
The McKinsey Accelerator Program has been a great challenge for my leadership skill set, said Jocelyn Knigget, Best Buy Distribution Operations Support Senior in Ontario, California.
That's it. We're not allowed to brush our teeth before the show anymore because
I have to not rent lips or brush teeth anymore.
Yeah.
Having other people of color in the program took away the facade I've always had to bear as a minority.
What
and
facade?
allowed me to participate in a true student without having to worry about how I appear as a person of color in a space.
The only people that
The
have to
final
worry
frontier.
about how they appear as a person of color are
I
those
want
who
them
are
to appear.
racist.
This is how I want a manager of a Best Buy to appear. I want them to appear as competent. I want them to appear as being successful.
I would be
By
thrilled if they would
success-
just appear. You can't even get them to do that.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they appeared at all instead of talking about how black they are. I'm sorry, it's just not a thing.
I want to know what the hell this facade she's had to bear is. A facade means a fake covering. So is that
She
blackface?
doesn't even know what the hell she's talking about, which
No,
means
she's
she's
just making
perfect
up
to be a
words.
corporate
Yeah, so
manager.
she's
So
perfect to be a
anyway, blah,
manager.
blah, blah.
Without having to worry about how I appear as a person of color in a space. You sound like a racist. So that is how you appear, my dear.
I don't want to read anymore. Not that anyway.
Yeah, so far 95 have completed the program. 140 from across
employees.
the company participated. Yeah, so I don't like shopping at places that are racist, so bye-bye, Best Buy.
Well, they haven't been decent in the customer service department in years.
Oh, look, here's a completely unrelated story.
In unrelated news, I swear I'm not making this up.
Best Buy still dealing with profit declines and sales dips.
Yeah. They have sales dips. They're called the employees anyway.
Total sales for February, March, and April of nearly $9.5 billion were lower than the $10.6 billion the Minnesota-based company reported the same time last year. So
that's not
$1.1 billion. That's significant.
Not a small amount of money.
Yeah. It's a trend that has persisted for Best Buy in the past year, and the company leaders think it will continue. Oh, it's the shoppers' fault. It's going to continue until electronic shoppers need to update the devices they purchased during the pandemic.
No,
See,
it's
so it has
not,
nothing to do with them being racist jerks.
With racism and incompetence.
Yeah,
that
it has.
doesn't have anything to do
It's because
with it.
us consumers just aren't buying enough electronics. Yeah. Okay. So nothing to see here. Move along. Let's talk about
talk about anything
the guy they're
else
probably
but
going to
best-
run in place of King Brandon
Oh,
if he
dear
doesn't
Lord.
keel
Yeah,
over.
just
Good
another
old
step.
Governor Nuisance.
Just another step into turning California into a literal hell on earth.
Mm-hmm. California's demon rat, Governor Gavin Nuisance, has signed a controversial new law regarding judges' discretion on whether or not to add individuals to the state's sex offender registry if they have committed sodomy with minors. So basically, if you rape a kid, the judge can be like, well, I mean, you really liked him, right? Newsom signed the bill passed by the demon rat-controlled state legislature into law without comment on Friday, expanding the discretion granted to judges in statutory rape cases. California law permitted judges to decide whether to place a man on the sex offender registry if he had, and I'm using this term as loosely as possible, consensual intercourse with someone 14 to 17 years old and was not more than 10 years older than the person. Now, I understand if you're like an 18-year-old and you're dating a 17-year-old, okay, that's one thing. But if you're a 20-year-old and you're banging a 14-year-old, you're a sick, twisted, disgusting pervert. Hell, if you're a 14-year-old banging a 14-year-old, you need help. However, that discretion only applied to... God, I can't believe I have to read this. I need Trump again. Only applied to
Vaginal
intercourse, which LGBT advocates, including the author of the new bill signed into law Friday, argued was discriminatory toward gay men. No, it's discriminatory toward children, you sick, twisted pervs. This eliminates the discrimination against LMNOP, Rainbow Mafia, and the criminal justice system. The bill sponsors San Francisco Demon Rat State Rep Scott Wiener. Of course, the Wiener's involved.
Always got to have a wiener in
He's
there.
got his pecker everywhere. SB 145 ends discrimination against the Rainbow Mafia on the sex offender registry. Currently, these youth are forced into the registry for consensual sex. It's not consensual if they're children, even if a judge doesn't think it's appropriate in situations where straight youth are not. Wiener added on social media, this discrimination destroys lives. No, I think raping a child destroys lives. I don't care what hole you're raping them in, it's destroying lives. Many have criticized the bill, arguing that sex between a teenager and someone 10 years older is never consensual. It's not, and should always warrant being placed on the sex offender registry. Yes. I cannot in my mind as a mother understand how sex between a 24-year-old and a 14-year-old could ever be consensual. How could it ever not be a registrable offense? A Democrat Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez said when the bill was being debated in the legislature. We should never give up on the idea that children should be in no way subject to a predator. Hey, a Democrat that actually said something worth saying. Several Twitter accounts belonging to conservative politicians and personalities tweeted out criticism of Nuisance following his decision to sign the bill into law. As a parent, I'm appalled that last night our governor signed a law maintaining a 24-year-old can have sex with a 14-year-old and it not be considered predatory. San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer tweeted, an adult who commits any sex act on a minor 10 years younger must be registered a sex offender. Law must be changed. California has completely fallen. I'm not going to read the rest. There's several more. California is completely fallen. It's gone. I mean, Seattle, California, I mean, just... It's gone. It's fallen. Taking our nation with them. Okay, the next one, as reported by WTRF, but they need to remove the R. Just the title.
I know.
I don't even know if we need to read the article.
And then, you know.
WTRF, remove the R.
I'm going to go ahead and read the. I usually try to avoid reading the headlines.
No, the headline just, it speaks for itself.
Trans woman sues ex for return of her testicles kept in fridge.
Oh, God, just somebody kill me. This is the world we live in now?
It's the end of the world as we know it.
It's clown
It's
world.
definitely clown
It's not
world.
even clown world anymore. I mean, this is just, good Lord.
A transgender woman is headed to court.
Otherwise known as a man.
Okay, I'm not going to do that all day.
I will. You do. You read.
Okay,
I'll
read. You
I'll
can
fill
go.
in.
Okay. Is headed to court demanding the return of her surgically removed genitals, which she alleges her ex-boyfriend stole. Newsweek brought the case to light after Pontiac, Michigan resident Brianna Kingsley submitted a claim on August 3 that alleges her ex-boyfriend, 37-year-old William Wojciechowski, is refusing to return her testicles that were removed and kept in a jar during gender transition surgery.
Okay, I wonder if Rigby kept her face in a jar by the door. This guy took it to a new level.
Wojciechowski tells the Detroit News that he was unaware of the filing until the newspaper asked him for comment. Newsweek states that a handwritten affidavit shows Kingsley demands the return of her human remains, which are kept in the refrigerator next to the eggs.
Ew. And not the eggs you're thinking of, but like the eggs that you would
and
eat.
paid $6,500 in damages, the maximum amount allowed in Pontiac's small claims court. It is reported that wow claims Kingsley took everything she wanted from his apartment 8 months ago when they broke up. He also claims that she has been harassing him since the breakup, threatening to hurt him and show up at his workplace.
Huh.
What's the matter, baby? Tells the newspaper that he has no plans to return the testicles and doesn't owe Kingsley anything. Why would you hold on to the balls?
I found this Kingsley character in another article.
WTRF.
A Ferndale, quote, woman faces a court hearing after police say she threatened a roommate with a knife on Christmas Day. The suspect, Brianna Kingsley, 36, is charged with the... By the way, he does not pass. You look at that and you're like, that's a guy. Is charged with felony assault and jailed on $5,000 cash bond. She faces a probable cause hearing Thursday in Ferndale 43rd District Court. They explain transgender held in the Oakland County Jail under a former male name in the men's section. However, she is being held separately from the other men. Records at the jail show she also has outstanding warrants on Pontiac 50th District Court for assault and obstructing police. This person's a winner. And a drunken driving charge in Bloomfield Hills. Ferndale police said they were called to the house in McDowell around 7:40 Christmas Day. Kingsley and her roommate, also a transgender woman, got into an argument that escalated. Gee, crazy people fighting each other with knives. Who would have thunk? We were unable to get anyone to articulate what the reason was for the altercation. Oh, maybe they were trying to cut each other's nuts off. Police said the two roommates began arguing in the basement and continued arguing in the kitchen. In the kitchen, Kingsley grabbed a knife with a 6-inch blade and told the victim to leave the house. When the victim didn't immediately comply, the suspect held the knife above her head in a threatening manner. Yeah, this person's a piece of work. I'm going to actually put this in with them. Once a crazy, always a crazy. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Yeah, I was just curious what they looked like, and then this popped up as... And like I said, definitely not passing.
I wanted to say again, next week we're going to have our good friend Nick on the show with us. We also are going to have part one of an interview with Naresh Vissa, our good friend who has been on our show before, and he's going to be discussing several things. Part one will be on the influence of China. I would say the dominance of
Well, actually,
China.
we're going to run the stuff about the candidacy
Vivek
first because we
first?
want that to be posted
Okay, yeah, because
before
the debate's coming
the
up,
debates,
right?
yeah.
Okay, totally fine.
So my favorite candidate, and hopefully we get a chance to vote for him. We'll see.
See what happens.
I think they're going to Bernie him just like they're going to Bernie JFK. Okay, is that enough new normal for folks?
That's enough new normal. Let's go to Wonder Fuel.
Wonderful. Let's end it on a high note. You're going to make me cry, aren't you? Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller.
This first set of stories is courtesy of Fritzy. The other day, it was on, I think it was the 8th, was International Cat Day, and she sent us a link to several videos with some cat stories.
Hopefully
that will
you can
inspire
find
you.
because the link did not work.
Yeah,
for
it's
you.
okay. I've actually got it. I'll go ahead and read them, and then you can
right.
read the last story. It's still processing. I think this one we actually did read about. Family who fled Ukraine reunited with cat they left behind. I think we talked about that one.
We did talk about that one.
Okay. So the second one, a cat with glasses helps kids feel comfortable at eye doctor.
Oh, how cute!
This is the most adorable picture of the cat with glasses. This is Truffles, a smart cat who works in an eye doctor's office. Truffles works for the optician Danielle Kroll, who employs the cat to make the eye doctor experience easier for kids. Kroll has trained Truffles to do many tricks, which are usually reserved for dogs. Shake hands, give a high five, fist bump.
Max does all of those.
Danielle Kroll says, as I was training Truffles, I ran out of room, which she did, and I realized it would be a great way to show kids. She's just a cat, but Truffles knows a lot about eye care, and for kids getting their first pair of glasses, she makes learning fun. Take them off. Good job. Now, where do we put them when we take them off? And the cat puts it in the, oh my gosh, shows her the case to put the glasses in.
That's adorable.
She also wears eye patches to show kids it's not something to be ashamed of. Oh. 3 to 4% of kids have amphibia, which would require them to wear an eye patch.
Wow.
She will actually wear a pair of glasses with an eye patch on to show kids that it's okay to have an eye patch on. Army matey! Anyway, lucky patients at a Child's Eyes optician in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, get to meet Truffles. But those who can't get there can watch videos of the cool cat on social media.
Aww.
I began to make these videos for parents and for offices to show kids, to make kids more comfortable. It's exciting for me to see that people are all over now are getting a chance to watch your videos and show them to their kids. Working in his doctor's office may seem like a demanding job for a cat. But Truffles gets Wednesdays and Sundays off for cat naps. Excellent.
Cute.
As all cats should. And helping
Truffles is pretty.
kids feel
long hair, black and white.
Yeah. Really sweet. So yeah, that's the story on that one. Oh, let's see. Okay, and I think we did this one too. Former foster dog helps owner take care of foster kittens.
Aww.
Okay, here's one. Cat saves diabetic owner's life. I'm a diabetic, for those of you who don't know. So kind of near and dear to my spleen.
Near and dear to your spleen.
Okay. Yeah, this one's all audio, so we're going to skip that one. Cat reunited with owner 16 years after running away. Let's see. Stray cat carries her kitten to a veterinary clinic. That is adorable. I think a lot of these we actually did cover over the last year. Senior cats find companions in senior citizens. Fish to the cat gets adopted after going viral. Oh, he's adorable. Meet Biscuits and Gravy, the two-faced kitten from Oregon.
Okay.
It's a two-faced, literally, it's not like a two-faced bastard of a kitten. It's actually a cat with two faces.
Christopher the cat gets adopted after going viral? That's a fish topher. That's cute.
Yeah, most of these do not have a crawl. So, anyway, check them out at our website. We will have the link to all these fantastic videos of all these wonderful kittens. And now, to polish off the evening.
All right, let's see what you're going to make me cry
I don't
with
think this
time.
one's going to make you cry.
You don't think
honestly,
so?
No.
Okay. Echevarria? Is that how you say it?
Let me see.
In 2005, Kelvin Echevarria was on top of his game. He had 2 jobs, bought a house, and was raising a 3-year-old daughter with his wife. But suddenly, it felt like it was all being taken away. He could no longer work as a FedEx driver because he was going blind. He was diagnosed with diabetic
retinopathy.
That. At first, like, heck with the money, heck with the house we just got. I don't care about that. All I care about is my wife and my daughter. I'm like, how am I going to see my daughter grow? Echevarria at first worked on developing independent living skills like walking with a cane, but he wanted to learn more, like skills that would be useful for a job. That's when he found Lighthouse Works in Orlando, a company that creates jobs for the visually impaired and blind. 7 out of 10 Americans who are visually impaired are not in the workforce, said Kyle Johnson, the president and CEO of Lighthouse Works. And we knew that people who are blind are the most highly educated disability group on the planet. That's interesting. And so very capable people who want to work and contribute, so we created Lighthouse Works to help them do that. Well, the guy looks really fit, too, so you wouldn't think that the diabetes would have been what took him out. He looks like he's in really good shape.
Mm-hmm.
What began as Lighthouse Central Florida in 1976 has evolved. The organization originally focused on helping the blind and visually impaired learn independent living skills and enter the workforce. But in 2011, they created Lighthouse Works in Orlando, their own company that provides call center and supply chain services and hires people.
I'll take over. Who are blind and visually impaired. Echevarria says he was the first blind person he ever knew. But at Lighthouse Works, nearly half the employees are visually impaired or blind, Johnson told CBS News. Echevarria works in the call center, where Lighthouse Works has contracts with several clients, including the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. Lighthouse Works employees help callers trying to access unemployment benefits. Other Lighthouse Works employees work on supply chains, building products for a variety of clients. In his call center job, Echevarria using a system called JAWS, J-A-W-S, to, quote, hear the computer he uses. The system reads the computer screen to Echevarria in one ear as he listens to a customer call in his other ear. That would make me insane.
Me too.
The voice of the JAWS for many of our call center agents is going so fast that people like you and I don't understand what it's saying, Johnson said. I always say it's faster than the voice at the end of one of Fritzy's commercials. Echevarria has gotten good at it, really good. He now listens to JAWS on an almost comical speed. Since I used to see, it was very hard for me to listen because I was more visual, he said, so everything in my learning skills I've had to change from visual to being auditory now. It took a little while, but little by little, if you want something in life, you have to reach out and grab it, and you have to work on it. So that's basically what I did. And there's a photo of him with his family, sweet bunch of people. He said what makes his call center job fun is that the person on the other end of the phone doesn't even know he's blind. And he said working in a fully accessible office space with other visually impaired people who can relate to him is an added benefit.
That's really cool.
It is cool. It gives me a purpose. It makes me feel better because I can actually be proud of myself saying I provide for my family, he said. His original worry was not being able to be there for his daughter. Now he's her mentor because she's an employee at Lighthouse Works as well.
Well, that's cool.
You know, little kids come to their parents and all of a sudden when they become teenagers, they go away and they hardly ask you, he said. Now we're going back again to those days that my daughter used to come to me all the time, and I still feel needed.
Oh, that's sweet.
So yeah, you want to give somebody a sense of self-worth, don't hand them money, give them a job.
Exactly.
Give them some source of pride and employment. Absolutely. Well, the show's just about over. I've got to tell you, it's been real fun. Real fun, really fun, lots of fun. We are going to have some great shows in the next several weeks. I cannot wait to see Nick again.
I know.
He's
really
one of the most
forward.
eclectic, beautiful, intelligent people I know. Just a wonderful guy.
He's eclectic. We'll give him that.
I said eclectic. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant.
Nick's a lot of fun, and he's got the most beautiful voice. He's so perfect.
Yeah, he's got an amazing voice. Well, you've heard him on some of our sketches and plays and
he's our Trump. So there'll be more Trump to come.
Yeah.
All right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in today. Sorry we're a little bit late on the uptake, but we ran a little bit long. So, actually, no, we're right on time.
We're right on time.
Right on time. Next week, we will definitely run long because we've got a good, great, fantastic interview. Do turn back in to hear more from Nareesh. And let's talk about the upcoming election and some influence. They will also be available on all the video sites. So we'll probably post those early on our locals. If you are not a member of our locals, please head out to locals. And join us. There will
Join us.
There's going to be some extra inside joke. Yeah, there's going to be some extra fun stuff on there soon. So be a subscriber. It's cheap as heck and totally worth it. All right, folks. Whatever you do, go forth in kindness. We will see you next week.
Bye. Counterculture-Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, Be a Guest on Our Show.
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.